If you are currently feeling excessively tired, anxious, overworked and stressed with the demands in college, you might be experiencing burnout. After working with thousands of people in my role as a peak performance coach and stress management trainer, I realized that many of those unhealthy habits and patterns that lead to burnout are oftentimes already created in high school and college. But you can prevent it, and that's exactly the reason why I have created this video for you today, in order to talk with you about what burnout is, how you can identify if you actually have burnout, and obviously how you can overcome it and create more sustainable performance over time. So I would say, let's get started. Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited that you're here and that we can chat today a little bit about burnout. I want to make sure that I educate you about burnout and that you know what to do in order to sustain your performance over time in the future and prevent burnout. The first thing that I want to chat with you about is what is burnout, right? I think it's always really interesting to just kind of understand that. So, based on the World Health Organization, burnout was only recognized as an official disease in May of 2019. So it hasn't been officially around for a long time. However, obviously, as you can imagine, it's been around for much longer than that, because you're not the first person that is experiencing high levels of stress and maybe even burnout. And so burnout has probably been around since humankind, and kind of especially our 21st century world has been around. So let's take a look at the definition of burnout. Burnout is defined as syndrome resulting from chronic work-related stress, with symptoms characterized by feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feelings of negativism, cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. And obviously, for you need to just replace job with college, and you have kind of the answer. So if you feel any of that right now, then you might be burning out. I had a burnout in the summer of 2018, and I can tell you it was not a lot of fun. I actually had to take a 3-month medical leave in order to recover from all of the different symptoms that burnout can bring along. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I had a lot of negative feelings and I constantly felt tired, overworked, super anxious and stressed. Do you feel similar? If you are, let's take a look at identifying if you are actually experiencing burnout. So, how can you identify burnout? The first super simple question that you can ask yourself is, what is my current stress level on a scale of 1, low stress, to 10, high stress? This is a super simple check-in, because oftentimes when we want to change something about our current physical and mental and emotional state, we need to create awareness around where we are at. So take 10 seconds, take 20 seconds and answer that question in your head. How is my stress level? How do you currently feel, right? So, the answer to this question might be you are a 5 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 or maybe even a 10 out of 10. And that might be a good first indicator that you are experiencing very high levels of stress at the moment. And it's totally okay. So if you are curious to dive even deeper into the question of, am I actually experiencing burnout? I have actually created a burnout assessment questionnaire for you that you can find in the notes below. So make sure to click on that link and to just fill out these different questions in order to find the answer to where am I actually currently at on the burnout scale. So once you have better insight into the question if you are currently experiencing burnout, another super important question that I'd like you to ask yourself is the question, what is the source of your stress at the moment, right? Because if you first of all know that you're feeling extremely stressed and overworked and overwhelmed, then obviously it can be super helpful to identify what is the source of your stress. And that can be a lot of different things. Like, for example, competing priorities, a ton of things on your to-do list. Maybe you have work next to college and you have a lot of difficult customers that are stressing you. Or you have to move all the time because of different priorities and because of different circumstances. or you have a lot of projects and homework, right? All of these different things can be reasons why you're currently feeling burnt out, and they are all absolutely valid reasons. There is no right or wrong, and we are all individuals, and every one of us is different in how we are coping with stress, and oftentimes we haven't really learned how to cope with stress, and that's exactly why we're talking about this today. So super simple. Step number one is to create awareness of where you are at on the burnout scale. And then the second step is to really identify the source of your stress. Where does it come from? One thing that I actually forgot to mention is you could also, for example, go through a breakup right now, and that might be super emotionally draining for you. And with other things that are going on in your life might lead you to burnout as well. So there's a lot of different reasons, and they are all absolutely valid. So now let's take a look at what you can do in order to overcome your burnout. The first important thing that you can do in order to take care of yourself is to create some space for yourself and recharge your batteries. Go and have some fun. Maybe you have been sitting inside dwelling on certain things lately, and you've been feeling super depleted and emotional and disconnected from yourself and maybe from your friends. And so it is really important that, especially during this time, you are taking care of yourself. Go outside in nature, move your body, do something that brings you joy and happiness, no matter what that is. Oftentimes in this regard, we obviously talk about self-care. Some people don't like this term, so I want to kind of stay away from that today and in this video. And I just want to tell you, just find something that makes you happy and where you feel more like yourself afterwards. That's the first important step, because if you're currently experiencing very high levels of stress, then you have a lot of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline in your body that make you feel that way. You are in this heightened state where you're constantly detecting danger where there maybe isn't any danger. And so it is really important to signal to your body, hey, actually everything is okay, right? And that helps us as well to get back from this emotional state to more of a rational state of mind where you can make better decisions. The second step then is, after you have created some awareness of where you are at and what the source of your stress is, to obviously do something about it, right? It is important that you're taking action. I think it is really nice to practice self-care, right? To do things that recharge you and make you feel better. But then if you're just going back to these old circumstances or these old patterns or habits that you have created, you're not going to really feel any better. So you need to ask yourself a very honest and sometimes maybe even difficult question around, okay, what is the source of my stress and how can I actually change that? What can I do? Maybe I need to manage my time better. Maybe I need to set more boundaries. Maybe I need to, for example, break up with a person, or maybe not see a friend anymore that has been super important for you in the past, but the energy of that person is just not doing you any good at the moment. Or you might also need to better prioritize your schedule and just be really clear on what needs to get done on which day. So all of these different things, time management, boundaries, prioritization, procrastination, those are all oftentimes kind of the reason and the source of our stressors, because we're not doing these things well. So if you want to overcome burnout, if you want to prevent burnout in the future, you need to learn a couple of new skills. And I'm absolutely here to help you with that. So on my YouTube channel, you can find videos about all of these different topics. We're obviously not diving now deep into time management, boundary setting, prioritization, because those are all topics within themselves. But I promise you that if you start to be more intentional about all of these different things, your burnout will actually leave, right? You will recover from burnout. It's absolutely possible. And I have, again, over the course of time and working with thousands of people, both college students and professionals, realize that those are oftentimes the main reasons why people are experiencing burnout. They haven't managed their time well, they haven't set good boundaries, and then because of that, they have no space for themselves anymore. And that obviously over the course of time leads to burnout, because that's the thing with burnout. Burnout is not something that's happening from one day to another, but more is kind of like coming up over the course of time. So make sure that you're not getting there in the first place. The last and final step that I want to share with you today in order to prevent and overcome burnout is a question that I actually received from a college student. And I found this question super powerful and super interesting. So I want to share it with you. And the question was, if I am on the verge of have burnout? Is it okay to feel this way and then just take an extended break after, for example, the exams are over, or after, you know, I've gone through this emotional experience that I'm currently going through? And I had to disappoint this person a little bit, because the answer is no. It's not okay to be on the verge of burnout and just expect that there will be a time period where things are better. You need to take action now. The reason why I'm saying this is because very often I'm working with people that have experienced multiple burnouts throughout their career. And the reason for that is that they've always told themselves, I'm just gonna take on this one more project, and I'm just gonna do this one more thing, and then I'm going to take some time to relax. But if you are experiencing high levels of stress all the time, then you are not going to be recovered after a week or two. Like a 1 or 2 week vacation is not going to be enough. And why would you want to get to that place over and over and over again, right? It doesn't feel great. I'm sure that you have been sick before in the past, and you know what it feels like when you're not feeling 100%, when you're constantly feeling energy depleted and anxious and stressed and frustrated and maybe a little bit angry and tense. It's not a fun place to be in. So why, if you can, not change your habits and patterns, and you can absolutely do that, then you can feel better overall and you can build a much healthier lifestyle. And that is super important before you're even entering the professional world, right? So take care of yourself, make sure that you're learning the right skills right now, and then you can be so successful in your career. Because a lot of people that I've been working with are struggling to be successful in their career because they are constantly energy depleted and they can't show up as their best self. So don't make the same mistake. Take care of yourself now. You know, take a couple of important steps, take action, learn a couple of new skills, and I promise you, you will feel better in no time. If you have any questions for me, don't hesitate to leave me a comment here below, below the video, and let me know, how are you doing? What would you like to know about burnout? How can I help you? I am here for you, and I'm excited to answer any questions that you might have. So thank you so much for watching today's video.